the teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I have come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning.
Okay, I think it's good to get back to the old habit. Let's do 1 minute meditation before we can start it. So, Jason, for you new, just keep your back straight, your neck straight. Close your eye, inhale and exhale to the nose. You count 1, inhale and exhale to the nose, you count 2. If we see the monkey mind, don't chase after the monkey mind, just go back to our inhale and exhale. And if we lose track of our counting, start from 1. All right. When you sit, make sure we keep our body comfortable and just relax. And don't hold our breath and do it naturally. Okay, start it. Thank you. So we have 10 chapters in this one, and we're on the first chapter. And the first chapter, we have a skeleton of the outline, and we will follow the outline. We learn in detail. Right? This is the outline that we will go through all the outline. Okay. So last week we start on the first one, right? So this is how we learn about to respect the prostrate to the Buddha, to the Chiputem, right? And as well as to the Buddha, the noble son and daughter, right? This means the sacred one. Okay. And we also read about I don't think we finished reading the whole thing. Did we finish reading the whole thing?
I'm not sure. I would have to see it.
Okay. Okay, I think it's good to read the whole thing one more time, I think. Did you see this? Third, I have heard.
Yes.
Have I heard? Right? Yeah. Okay, William, go ahead and read this one.
Okay. Thus I have heard. On a certain occasion, the Buddha was staying near Savatthi at Jeta Grove in Anatha Pandika's park. At that time, the Buddha told the elder Anatha Pandika to hear. About a long time, for many kalpas ago, there was a Brahmin named Tilama who had a lot of money and jewels. When giving alms, he used 84,000 gold bowls filled with silver, 84,000 silver bowls filled with gold. Again, he took 84,000 bowls made of gold and silver, and 84,000 buffaloes covered their horns with gold and silver, and took 84,000 jade ladies with full adornment, and took 84,000 seats with the silk covers on top, and took 84,000 clothings and took 84,000 elephants and horses, and all used gold and silver to make the headstall to tie their heads and mouths. Again took 84,000 rooms to alms, again to give alms at the 4 gates of the city, and he gave them all according to whatever the receivers wanted. But use only 1 room to give alms to monks coming from the 4 directions. The
Okay,
merits.
stop right there. Stop right there. So what do you understand from this one, Ray?
Okay, that this is talking about a Brahmin who basically gave so much stuff to so many people. Just a ton of gold and silver and whatever people wanted to eat, and cushion covers and all these, animals. The one part that confuses me, it seems to say, draw attention to using only 1 room to give alms to monks. So he's giving alms to like all sorts of people in the city, in a lot of different rooms and the 4 gates of the city, but then he only used 1 room to give alms to the monks.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what does that mean? You know what does that mean?
Well, it seemed to like be less. He seemed to kind of be more narrow of a giving to the monks and giving more to other people who weren't monks.
Well,
Not sure.
he have 84,000 rooms for all people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he only want. This is what he wanted. What he said. He only focused doing the good deed. He's not interested in any kind of Buddhism or learning the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Learning the way, that means learning to learn about the Dharma, so we will discussing here, and so basically he focused on doing the good deed, just like many people from from the world right now, where a lot of people very generous. They love to do giving. They help out when the people in need. That's a good thing. That's really good thing. But when we come to here, I will play. When I explain you later on relate to the 3 refuge, this will help you to understand this question. Okay? I will delay that. So, all right, Tammy, you can go ahead and do the next one.
The merits from the above alms given is not equal to taking refuge. Why? Because a person who takes the 3 refuge is to perform fearlessness giving to all sentient beings. So taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, his or her merits and virtues cannot be counted. The merits of such generosity in taking the 3 refuges is not equal to the merit of those who uphold the 5 precepts. One who upholds the 5 precepts is full of merits, surpassing all. The merit of the above giving and the upholding of the 3 refuges and the 5 precepts is not equal to the merits and virtues of a person in just a moment with the flick of a fingernail showing compassion for sentient beings. The merit of such generosity and the virtue of upholding the 3 refuges, the 5 precepts, and showing loving kindness for sentient beings are not equal to the merits of those who give rise to the thoughts of dislike to worldly matters. Why is that? Since the merits of the arising of perceptions of dislike to the whole worldly matters can enable a practitioner to eliminate the suffering of samsara, death and rebirth cycle, and complete the Buddha way. His or her merits and virtue are supreme. At that time, when the elder heard the Buddha's words, he happily served.
Okay. Can you quickly summarize what?
So it's saying that the merits of generosity are not as good as the merits of taking the 3 refuge, and the merits of taking the 5 precepts are more valuable than either of the other 2. But above all of those is actually showing loving kindness for sentient beings. But if you can have just like all worldly matters, it's better than all of the other things before.
Good, that's good. So let's start from beginning, right? The rich man, right? The Brahmin, he very rich. He can give whatever he have to other people, especially to the not the monk, right? Other people. The blessing he have is a lot. It's a lot, but when it's compared to the one uphold, the taking the three refuge, why the taking the one is taking the three refuge, it's way better than the blessing is more better than the giving. I think we discussed a little bit this thing last week already. Yeah. Tammy, what do you think?
The three refuge, taking the three refuge is better than just giving, just being generous, because you're taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. So you're actually learning the Dharma. You're learning from Buddha, and you're taking refuge with the Sangha. So you're learning with the Sangha, and which will lead you to taking the 5 precepts. So just giving is beneficial, but you're not learning the Dharma. So you're not, in essence, becoming a better person. You're just giving.
You see, right now, look at the world we have right now. A lot of people who holding the high rank position in the government, they are very intelligent, right? That means due to their previous life blessing, due to their previous life, they did a lot of good deeds. Right now they enjoy the good deed result. So, but when they enjoy the good deed result, what happened is all these people here create the chaos for the world. Look at the war going on in the Russia and Ukraine right now. Look at that. Putin, he a very intelligent guy, right? Very intelligent. That means in the past he did good deeds in order to get this kind of result. But at the same time, when we enjoy the blessing, we destroy other people's lives. Why was that? William, why that could happen? When we did a lot of good deeds, and now when we enjoy the good deed result, we destroy other people's lives. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, well, I think it's particularly if we enjoy those blessings like without consideration for other people. So, I mean, his blessings would be, his power, his intellect, his position, but then how he's using those things. Like he could use those things positively and help people, but he just because we're blessed doesn't mean that we've gone beyond like anger and greed and ignorance. So he's got a kind of mix of those things going on where he thinks like, well, the Ukrainian people aren't really an individual people, and he wants to have more power. He probably doesn't want to lose his position as a dictator, and so he has to like do something to keep his people from like kicking him out. So it seems that he could use it in a way that is positive to people, but it's just acting out of like ignorance and greed and anger.
Okay, you bring up a very good one. Let me show you this. Okay. But does that mean that we encourage people to do good deed?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And then also not just a good deed, but also help others.
Well, when we help others, that means it's a good deed, right? Do we?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, but if that's the case, if the way we say that, if the people who did a good deed in the past, Now they enjoy the result and they create the chaos for other people. Then that means when they hear this, you know what? They say Buddhism is Buddhism is really what do you call? Buddhism is this is the way the Buddhism teach. No, we have to understand in detail, in depth. If the people hearing this, they say that this is the way the Buddhist teaching. What do you think, William? If they respond in that way, what would you say?
Yeah, that so in one hand they teach to do good deeds, but then also there's a teaching that, you know, if you only do good deeds, it could actually cause you problems, because, you know, if he didn't have the blessings of, like, wasn't running a country, well, then he would never be able to create as big of a negative karma from starting a war. So if he'd never gotten those blessings in the first place, he may have been better off. So, but inherent in the Buddhist teachings are that, like, you know, some people think that to practice the way is to, you know, seek for blessings, but that's not actually the true way, because in the future, even though we're blessed, we'll still have faults, and those faults will cause us to will cause our downfall, out of, you know, the faults being ignorance, greed, and anger. So it's better to work on cultivating a mind free from those poisons, and, you know, in that process, not hesitate to do good deeds, but not do good deeds for blessings, not do them for the purpose of that, but do them in the practice of cultivating a mind free from anger, greed, and hatred.
Okay, that's good. That's good. You bring up a very good point. Yeah. The difference between the Theravada teaching and the Mahayana teaching is right here. Well, in the Theravada teaching, it always encourages us to do the good deed, so we can be reborn into the heaven, can be born into the human with the good life, with the good blessing, so you can enjoy. But in the Mahayana teaching, it's different. Yes, we should do good deeds. At the same time, we should cultivate our mind. Because when the person doing the good deed, it doesn't mean that they know how to transform the poison mind, right? Just like you said, greedy, hatred, and ignorant. Why? Because the person who doing the good deed, they still have the mana consciousness. This is the most troublemaker. This is what we call the self. This is important. When we doing the good deed, because we want to have the blessing in the future, that's what the self represents. Because we expect to have the good result, so we can enjoy. This is the problem. And that's why when the Brahman, the rich man, right, he used 84,000 rooms to give out, and he only have one room to give out to the monk. That means he cares less about learning the Dharma, or learn to gain the wisdom, or learn to transform the mind. William, so when we learn together, and the way I say to you is not only show you how we do the good deed, but most important is in learning the consciousness only and the Buddhist psychology, it helps us to transform the mind. That is the most important of all. Do you see that, William?
Yes.
That is the important. Yes, the next life we have the good result from our blessing, but we will not create problem for others, because we focus on cultivate the mind, not about the good deed. That's important. We make sure that we don't tame the snake, the poison snake, right? We want to transform that poison snake to be non-poison. That's important. Right there. That's why in the Flower Adama Sutra, the highest sutra in the Buddhism, the Buddha said, even though we do all the good deeds in this world, but if we forget how to generate the Bodhisattva, the Bodhicitta, then you know what? All those good deeds equal to the demon deed. You remember I said that to you? Right? Tell me, you understand so far? Tell me.
Yes, I understand.
This is important. See, the one who just forget about generate the bodhicitta. The bodhicitta, that means to benefit the living being. But what are the criteria motivate the benefit to the living being is the loving kindness and compassion. And in this book here, we learn how to develop the bodhicitta. That means we learn how to develop the loving kindness and compassion. When we have the bodhicitta, doesn't matter how many lives we reborn, we will not harm others. Because our mind always think for others before we think for ourselves. That means we try to have no poison from this mind, right? This is important. Even though we fall into the lower realm due to our previous bad karma, we still not be able to harm others. Even though we suffer in those realms, but we still not have the mind with the evil to against others. This is what we call bodhicitta. The bodhicitta is so important. In Asian tradition, the Buddhists in Asian like Vietnamese Buddhism, Chinese Buddhism, we do not focus on the bodhicitta. Not many master lecture on this thing. No. But in Tibet, the Tibetan monk, they are very good at this thing. They promote the teaching of bodhicitta. This is where all the poison can go out. We can uproot the poison mind. Thang Thiền, you understand so far, Thang Thiền?
Yeah, my Phật.
So this is important. So when we do all the good deeds with the self, with the ego, with the arrogance, because we do not know how to transform those minds, yes, your good deeds do have result. But when we enjoy the result on the next life, those results will harm others. Just like we look at the many examples in this world, all the chaos in this world come from the intelligent people. You see a lot of companies, right? They produce goods, they produce different kind of goods. And what happened is we have the global warming due to their greedy mind. And they care less about those. And you know what? All the world leaders right now, they know the scientists already try to give them many proof of the weather is terrified the nature. But you know what? The world leader know that, but they still not take things seriously because they're greedy. They hungry for power. They hungry for whatever the thing they want, and they lose so little. And when they do it with the condition. And so how do we resolve the problem? Things get worse. If I do it, I don't gain the benefit, I will not do it. That's what the leader mind of the current society. They bring harm to the nature. They bring harm to all the young generation. They just like in US, right? The leader in the US, they care, the Republican and Democrat or whatever, we not want to involve into the politics. But the reality is, doesn't matter whatever the group is, they only want with their agenda. Right? They don't want to go to your way or my way. They go their way. That is very sad. That's why the Buddha said this is the evil world, the world of evil. Okay? And when we live in this kind of world, we have to we cannot go anywhere, right? We cannot run anywhere, but we live, if we live with the good mind, we can avoid a lot of bad things to ourselves and to others. So the way is the Bodhicitta can help us to survive in the evil world. That's why the rich man like the Brahmin, right? He very rich. But the blessing he have, it comes from the external. It not come from the internal. But the one who taking the three refuge, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, that is the one who begin to step into the ocean of wisdom of the Buddha. That means they will have a chance to learn the Dhamma, and they will, one day be able to learn the Dhamma, they will become the good person at least. When they become a good person, that means they will respect the living being life. This is what the fearless given. Does that make sense to you, William?
Yes.
JC, you understand so far? I hope you follow, right? I could not hear you.
Yes, dạ thưa thầy. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. So basically, and the one who uphold the five precepts is more blessing than the three, taking the three refuge. Because the one who uphold the five precepts, that means they already taking the three refuge anyway. They have to take the three refuge before they can uphold the five precepts. So of course, the one who uphold the five precepts are more blessing than not easy to understand, right? Tammy?
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay, what about in here? The Buddha said that if we be able to have a loving kindness mind only on the click of finger, the blessing for that one to all living beings, the blessing for that one, you know what? It's beyond all those below. How do we describe this thing? William, do you think how do we describe this thing?
Yeah, so we could take refuge out of an intellectual understanding. We could also take the precepts out of an intellectual understanding, but the sincere compassion where we begin to have thoughts about, wishing for the benefit of all living beings, like that is kind of that's another step that's beyond just an intellectual understanding, but it becomes a sort of, it's kind of a testament to the development of our mind. that we begin to be concerned about other people's well-being, and that's that's the seed of Buddhahood, is this concern for the whole, as opposed to just a narrow concern about ourselves.
Can you be able to give me the example in the real life? It will fit the real life situation. How do we apply that?
Yeah. So we could, like when the pandemic started, one thing, someone could just be focusing on how the pandemic is negatively impacting them personally. Oh, I can't go out to restaurants with my friends anymore. Oh, I can't do this, or I can't do that. And that's very much like a self-referential process. But if one's natural inclination is, instead of thinking about what I can't have, it's more and more struck by the suffering of other people and the desire to alleviate that in some way, where we don't even think about, oh, I can't go to a restaurant or I can't be with my friends. We're more about like, wow, there's a lot of people are really getting really sick and being very hurt. Like, I need to do whatever I can in order to help. And when that's like our core motivation, something we don't have to like analyze and think about, but when we just naturally are having compassion, that's what it sounds to me. That's sort of like in a sense, we're beginning to turn a corner in the development of our mind.
You bring up a very good point right here. I make me to recall what during the pandemic when it began. You know what? Who were the first line, the front line on the battle? Who are they?
Like emergency room physicians, urgent care physicians, nurses, hospital physicians. Yeah,
they are the true heroes. Without them, you know what? A lot of people suffer. And you know what? They risk their own life to help others. They care less about them. Of course, they scare. It's the nature of human. Yeah. But you know what? It's a duty. They have to fulfill. This is beautiful. We don't want those things happen, but when it happens, people react or act different way. But the one who on the front line is the one who saved mine. Those people, the blessing they get in the future, even though they don't expect for the blessing, but due to the law of cause and effect, if we expect or not, it will come to you anyway. The result of this blessing compared to the one who doing the giving for a long time, it's non-comparable. Because the blessing we use the money to give to other people, it's material. Material cannot compare to life. If we be able to save one person's life, the blessing is already countless. Not talking about many lives. Yet, if they sacrifice their life to save other people's life, yet they died through the battle, right? But you know what? The blessing for their next life is unbelievable. Nothing can consider. Nothing can measure. And you know what? This kind of blessing, when they enjoy, they will not easily harm other people, because this is the initial state of the Bodhicitta. This is the initial state of the Bodhicitta. That's where the love and kindness start. You see? And what about, let's say that if we live in a family, right? Where sometimes between husband and wife, children and parents, siblings, we have problems, right? We do. Things not always smooth, right? But when we encounter the negative, we react, everything is broken. But if we act with the loving kindness, and you will learn how to transform the negative affinity with our loved one, because all the problem come from our loved one anyway. If we know how to generate the loving kindness, there are the steps that we learn in the future. Then we can be able to resolve from we can transform the negative affinity. Affinity, that means the connection that we have with other in the past life. If we be able to transform the negative karmic affinity into the positive karmic affinity, this is where the love and kindness about to the patient. This is the practice of the love and kindness. That means when the troublemaker or the one cause us problem always, but we never at any moment have any ill will against that person. This is truly love and kindness. It's not easy, very easy to say, but it's very difficult to practice. But once we be able to practice this thing, the blessing we have from here, nothing in this world can compare. And when we enjoy the blessing in the future, the mind of love and kindness always go with us. No matter how many lives we be born. And we will continue on practicing, cultivate this kind of mind. And remember, when we have this type of mind, we will attract the mind like. That means the one who have the same mind. That means the Bodhisattva and the Buddha. And they the one who help us to cultivate, help us to cultivate. And therefore, we keep increasing blessing instead of commit the bad karma. The Bodhicitta is so important. Right? But it's very difficult at the beginning to get used to this kind of practice. It's not easy. But when later on you learn about the model that we learn from this book, it's a beautiful 7-step model. I will give you briefly the 7 steps. The first step is look at all living beings as our own model. Recognize them as our own model. The second step is to be grateful to the model of our, that means all the living beings as our model. To be grateful. The third step is have a vow or a wish to repay that gratitude. The fourth step is to develop the immense affection or to develop unconditional love. The fifth one is to develop the great compassion. The sixth one is to have the ultimate, the supreme mind. That means supreme mind. The mind is always from above. We learn the Buddhism, Buddha teaching. From below, we rescue living beings. The seventh one is to accomplish the Bodhicitta. Later on, I will dig into detail how to develop this thing. And when we encounter the problem, how do we use this one to contemplate? This is important. So that's why when we in the eighth consonant, that help us to transform which consonant? Do you know? Tell me. When we develop the Bodhicitta, which one it will help us to transform? Which consonant?
The ego. So the mana,
Yeah, the mana.
you're releasing the mana, and then it will remain in the storehouse to be passed on to from life to life.
Mm-hmm. When we're talking about mana, basically, we also, it will change the alaya consonant. That means you transform the content of the alaya consonant. It will automatically transform the mana consonant, because the mana consonant is attached to the content of the alaya consonant. Does that make sense to you, Tammy? So this is important. JC, you don't get used to this model. I will walk you through one time so you understand. Well, when we see a flower, right? Okay, hold on. When we see a flower, how I contact the flower, it means a form. A form can be anything, can be any object, like a house, a flower, a person, a people, or mountain, river, or whatever. It's considered to be the form. That means the external object, right? The visual object. The eye contact let's say the flower, right? The ear contact the sound. That means the ear listen to the sound. The nose contact the smell. That means about the smell. The tongue contact the taste. That means about the food that we contact, right? The taste. The body contact the touch. So when we contact, it means that you know what? The nervous system have two components, important components: the brain and the spinal cord. The spinal cord. The spinal cord holding all the nerves. It's connect from the brain and run all the way to the spinal cord. That means on the backbone, right? It will connect to the entire body. And the brain is the one control all the movement, all the feeling, everything related to the body will be controlled by the mind. Yesterday, well, on Friday, I happened to go and visit one of the patients in the hospital, right? And you know what? This person have the blood. They have the what you call the swollen inside the brain, and it break out, and the blood come out from the brain. And what happened is the part of the body is paralyzed. Why was that? Because the portion of the brain that where the blood is break out, right? That means it damaged the nerve. Those nerves, it's connected to whatever the part of the body, it will become paralyzed. Is that true, William?
Yes.
Remember, let's say that a person who have stroke, right? And that means it will block the vein somewhere in your arm or somewhere in your body. Do you think that can be removed, right? You can remove that. The doctor be able to remove that, or the doctor can be able to cut that part of the nerve and use all the part of the body of the nerve to mend it, to fix it, right? Do you think the doctor can do that, William?
No, nerves you can't kind of transplant nerves.
Oh, you cannot transplant?
No, sometimes you can reattach nerves that are severed. You can connect them to themselves, but you couldn't take like a nerve from another part of the body and use it to connect up a nerve.
Oh, you cannot do that?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought
Not
you
that I
can do
know
that.
of. I mean, maybe there's some new stuff happening, but not that I know of.
But that means, and they can also they try to plumb to make it go through to break through the block, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah.
means the arm or the hand will not be paralyzed, right?
If you get to it soon enough, it just depends how long the brain is deprived of oxygen. It's like the brain cells can survive for a limited amount of time without it, but then once they die, most people won't regain function. Some people can kind of like rewire their brain and learn how to move that limb a different way, but that's pretty rare.
Okay. I witnessed that this person here, when he will have I think he have a stroke. He collapsed and he lay down there for 15 minutes, I think, before the ambulance came over. Right, and when the ambulance came and picked him up, and he coma. He went into coma for 3 days. When he wake up, right. His body is weak, but it's not paralyzed. Because they be able to remove the collateral from the van, I think. And the only problem is after 2 months they be able to bring him back to normal with the therapy, the physical therapy here and there. The only problem is because for 15 minutes the oxygen is not coming, right? And therefore, because all the cells, they need blood, but the blood, they need oxygen, right? To circulate the blood. That means the blood will not be able to circulate up to the brain. That means most of his brain, the brain cell, it died. Remember, the brain cell, they have that much, it's that much. You cannot replace, you cannot, it's not what do you call, renew. You go, right? Okay. So what happened is he just like the kid of 1 or 2 years old. He could not remember anything. He only remember for 30 seconds and 1 minute. That's all. Because the memory, he have very limited memory to retain the information. Okay, let me go back here. Let me quickly to show this quickly. I want to that basically it will create the eye consonant and the ear. When contact the sound, it will create the ear consonant. That means it's just like the camera. It will take the picture of whatever the send object here, right? And this one will send the visual object into to the brain. That means to the mind, to the brain, to the nerve, right? To the nerve. And for the medical view, they said that inside the brain they function to convert the visual object into the sight. That means the eye be able to distinguish when the data inside the memory, right? The same thing for the ear. When the object of the audio object is send those objects to the brain, right? The brain also have a function to convert those things into the hearing. Is that true, William?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, hold on. This thing make me, give me 1 second. Okay, so this is important. But the medical view only stuck right here. But for the Buddhist view, it's beyond. So basically, what the Buddhist view, that means all the data will become available inside the memory, just like the RAM inside the computer, just like the RAM inside the iPad, iPhone. If we don't have the RAM, we cannot turn on the computer or the iPad because the data needed to have RAM in order to process the data. The same thing here. When the data inside the memory, the brain will have all kind of function for the brain, like think, to contemplate, to plan, to strategy, to visualize, to whatever the brain function is. That's based on the memory of the data inside the memory. And that means the mana consonant is the middle guy of the mind consonant. That means the brain, and the alaya consonant is just the storehouse. It will store whatever the data we take from the outside, and it will become the data inside the permanent memory here. And this storage it's not only one life, it's many lives. Why all the good deeds and bad deeds or whatever, it will be in here. So that means the mana consonant is the one that attached to the cell. It will wrap the data from the memory, right? From the sixth consonant that in the brain. It will, before it's put in here, any kind. If in here the data in this memory have any kind of emotional, right? It will trigger the emotion because due to the cell. It will trigger emotion. And it will put those data inside here, right? Become the stories. When we learn in school, this all the thing that we learn, we read, become the knowledge. All the work we do become the experience, right? What happens is when the data inside the memory form, let's say the I see the flower, right? And the brain is have a function say that what kind of flower is it? I wonder, right? We have a question like this. That become the inquiry. And you know what? The mana consonant will put those data, include the inquiry, the question that come from the mind will be a part of the alaya. Alaya consonant is not only the storage, but it will trigger the query to do the search, right? That's why you go to the Google and you type in whatever the question is, and it will click on it. The search engine will go out and search for the data inside the database. So alaya consonant is just by the database, but as well they have the function to do the search. And when they get if we know, if we read and we learn about this kind of flower in the past, those knowledge it will be in here. And you know what? They will search it, they will get the result back, and they will give back to the mana consonant. If the result data have the information relate to the emotion, it will trigger emotion, and the emotion become very strong, it will control the mind. We will learn about that. We learned about this already. And you know what? And they will give the result back to here. Depend on the emotion control the mind, or if the emotion control the mind become the negative thinking. Okay, this is the negative thinking right here. Even the data in here, whatever you have, it will become the negative. If we be able to subdue or transform the emotion, automatically you will not have a negative thinking. You will have a positive thinking. When we learn about I teach the depression, about the 15 different cognitive distortion, right? 16 different types at least. Later on, we will have a chance to learn that. Okay, anyway. And the brain is the one who makes the decision to do good deed or bad deed based on the brain. Okay, so we will learn more. Now at the time it's already end. Okay, I will stop right here. JC, you understand this so far? I hope.
Yes, I did.
You did? Okay. We will repeat this thing more than one time so you will get used, because most of us already learned this model many times, so they get used to this one already. So today I just want to review so you understand. So when we practice the love and kindness, we transform the mana consciousness. Therefore, all the good things come from is when we be able to transform those things. Okay? And when we enjoy the blessing, we will not harm others. Okay. So let's go back here. Okay, let me stop right here. Okay. Okay. Jimmy, and then Jimmy.
Dạ, bà thầy.
Đọc lên. Yeah.
Dạ. Transforms every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light. Share the fruits of peace with heart of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave the grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because of our hearts are one, this world of pain turn into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, everyone. So I see you next week. All right. Thank you. I wish you have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you.
Thank you.